Hey folks! So today we're over here at Disney's Boardwalk Resort to explore a little bit about what makes Boardwalk, well, Boardwalk. The resort is themed to the 1920s roaring Boardwalk, New Jersey, New York piers, shoreline, around that time frame. It's all this really cool, eclectic mix of,
Weirdness.
yeah, I think that's the right word. It's a bunch of amusement park rides, it's a bunch of horses, it's a bunch of electricity was a new thing. The Miss America pageant. There's a lot going on here at the Boardwalk. So we're going to go ahead and deep dive into a few of the details that you may or may not have missed. But we'll explain them. Ready?
Let's do it.
If we head outside towards the Luna Park pool, which is named after a Luna Park that was famous in New York on the Boardwalk, as well as there's one over in Sydney, Australia, you see the Leaping Horse Libations pool bar.
So, some things about Leaping Horse Libation that's actually pretty cool is it is all based on historic accuracy, but specifically it's based off of Sonora Webster, who is actually depicted on the side of the building with her horse. And she actually started diving with horses in like the early to mid 1920s. And she did it for a long time. She actually even had an accident while performing the stunt many years into doing it where she was blinded, but she continued to do it even after that, where she would take these horses up to these high peaks and just dive them into water. So it is interesting. There's a couple of different references to Sonora Webster throughout the entire resort. There's one here, obviously, at Leaping Horse Libations. Also in the convention center, there are a couple of other references. So it is a big classic, like,
It's a Boardwalk thing. It's an
Boardwalk
attraction.
thing. It was a Boardwalk attraction during that 1920s time frame. So it's really exciting.
So the Boardwalk is famous for the Miss America pageant. It's been happening at the Boardwalk pretty much every year since 1921, a few years it happened in Vegas. Before Abracadabra was here, there was a little store called Seashore Sweets, which was a sitting storyline ran by two twin sisters who loved the Miss America pageant, to the point where up on the walls, which they're long gone, but they had all the lining of all the pictures and portraits of all the Miss America pageant winners that were crowned at the New Jersey Boardwalk, Atlantic City, which is really cool and really in storyline. There's still a few references to the Miss America pageant around Boardwalk, and one of them is actually here in Abracadabra. Another one's over at the Screen Door General store. They have a nice portrait painting of Miss America one of the years around the 1920s. But then over here in Abracadabra, a little bit different. If you take a look at this Missing Magicians poster here, look at them bottom right. You're going to see the twin sisters advance in the beauty pageant. We wish the ladies luck as they lead a celebratory rolling chair parade this Sunday on the Boardwalk. At this pace, they may be on the way to becoming the first twin Miss Americas. So the Miss America pageant started as a rolling chair parade down the Boardwalk to basically advertise certain locations on the Boardwalk to say, hey, come visit our place. And it quickly evolved into an entire pageant. So in the main lobby of Boardwalk, they have this amazing old carousel, model carousel, just right in the entry. I mean, the doors are right here. And you enter, there's a carousel right in front of your face. This carousel is actually from, I want to say, it's a model from the 1930s. The miniature is from the 1920s, purchased by Disney in '95 and rebuilt by the Imaginary Artists. So carousels have a big place in the Boardwalk history and lore and just how things are. Carousels are really awesome. You can see these things up here on the carousel, minus the glare. They kind of make the carousel round. They're called rounding boards. So the carousel itself is just all these boards all shaped together to make it look like a big round device. But the ones up top are typically ornately painted, and they're called rounding boards. Boardwalk takes this a step further and actually puts rounding boards up above the main lobby. So you can see the rounding board right here, which actually depicts, it looks like Shanghai's castle, right?
Yep,
That's Shanghai, yeah. These three on this side, over here to the right, were added in a few years ago. And the three up here are actually original to Boardwalk. This depicts Sleeping Beauty Castle. This one depicts Euro Disneyland or Disneyland Paris, their castle. And then the last one depicts our castle or Tokyo's castle. The newer ones are round out with Hong Kong's castle. You can see the mountains behind it. And then they officially added in Tokyo's castle over to the side here. Or our castle. You know, take your pick. It's on the shore, so I'm assuming it's Tokyo. Up above the fireplace in the main lobby, you're going to see this weird looking elephant hotel type creature thing. Right? Nice picture of when it actually existed. Now, thankfully, it still does exist. Her name is Lucy. Lucy the Colossal Elephant. Back in the day, she was a hotel right on the New Jersey Boardwalk, New Jersey Pier. I'm sorry, maybe Coney Island? In that area up there to the north. Coney Island area. The big thing about her was that she was a big roadside attraction. People loved to visit her. When the Boardwalk first opened in 1995 here, a bunch of Vacation Club members decided to start a fund to actually save Lucy, because she was in bad disrepair on the shore, just from years and years of weather and wear and tear. So they started a fund to get her repaired and remodeled, and you can actually check it out online. They're selling Lucy merchandise and souvenirs. She's rentable as a one-bedroom Airbnb right now. It's really cool. And then rounding out our lobby tour, we have this model of a roller coaster called the Flip Flap. The Flip Flap was located on the shoreline as well, on the boardwalk, and it was considered the first looping roller coaster of its time. As you can tell, there's actually a roller coaster stuck in the loop right there. But this is a model showing the old school nature of the entire attraction. Very rudimentary, very simple, especially compared to today's standards. But back then it was a revolutionary thing and something very unique. You can see in this model too that the loop is actually almost a full circle. So nowadays, a lot of these loops and roller coasters are shaped like a teardrop and not a circle, because it's much easier for the forces on the body. Back then they didn't know that, but engineering, time will do cool things. And while we're here discussing the carousel as well and how important those rounding boards are, we also mentioned the Nanny Chairs that are located here at the boardwalk. These two are located at the foot of the mantelpiece with the fireplace, sorry. There's actually two more located on the first floor of the inside, but currently that's still closed, just the villas are open. But these are actually located on carousels for nannies to ride on, while the children actually rode the animals on the carousel. Parents are doing their own thing, they were working whatever jobs they had so that nannies could take care of people. These actually have names in the back of them. Paul is this one. And then I think this one, if I've been wrong, this is Alex. So supposedly the four names in the back are names of original architects of the boardwalk, the entire Disney's boardwalk side. I don't know how true that is or not, but it's still cool.
So when you enter into the boardwalk, you are met by something that's quite interesting, which is up top. This light fixture is very odd. It is called the Hippocampus Electrolyer, which is very reminiscent of the time frame that you're looking at when you think of the boardwalk. The reason it's called that is so this creature right here, this half horse, half fish thing, is actually called a hippocampus. So it's a mythical creature. You've got cherubs to go along with it. But the funny thing is the electrolier part of it was the way of saying an electric chandelier at the time. So the chandeliers that we consider today all have electric lights, obviously. But of the time frame, they would actually have candle wicks in them where they had to be lowered and raised continually in order to be lit for the evening. So the electrolier was the first example of electric lights in the same type of fixture. Obviously, the phrase didn't stick around, as we just call them chandeliers nowadays, but this is a classic example of what an Electrolyer might look like. So with that, this really shows the opulence that took place.
Grand, it's weird, it's neat.
It's this very weird, pulls in a lot of different elements and different aspects, but that's kind of what it is and how it exists. But that opulence kind of continued through different aspects of the boardwalk. So this is the first thing that welcomes you when you come into this resort. A lot of people recognize it, but don't understand kind of why it's here or what's going on with it. But yeah, so that's the Hippocampus Electrolyer. Isn't that weird?
And everything that we just touched on is just a little bit about the Boardwalk Resort.
There's so much theming here.
There's
so much.
There's a lot, and a lot of it is currently not open because only half the resort's open.
True.
So maybe we'll have to do an update in the future about some other cool things. Like we didn't get to touch on like Flying Fish Cafe.
Or Bellevue Lounge.
And we love Bellevue. Bellevue is great. All the old radios, and we'll show
Board
you.
games and so many things.
We'll show you another video. We'll save that secrets for another time. But we hope you enjoyed. Hope this is a nice little reflection inward on what makes the theme of the boardwalk awesome and unique and cool and weird.
And weird. So weird.
Thanks for watching, friends. We'll see you later.